Welcome back, Autobots, Decepticons, and everything in between to another awesome Transformers video. And in today's, we're going to be diving into some lost media from Transformers 2007, specifically media that was connected to BD Live. Now you might be wondering, what the heck is BD Live? And well, BD Live, which stands for Blu-ray Disc Live, was a feature introduced in early 2008 as part of Blu-ray Profile 2.0. BD Live brought internet-enabled features to Blu-ray. This meant that users with compatible Blu-ray players could connect to the internet to download exclusive content, like behind-the-scenes footage, trailers, games, and more. The Blu-ray release of Transformers 2007, which came out on September 2nd, 2008, initially featured only 3 BD Live extras. However, a 4th extra was swiftly added on September 30th, 2008. Unfortunately, after the 4th extra dropped, fans then experienced a lengthy wait, nearly a year, before any new content appeared. But their patience paid off dramatically on June 16, 2009, when 15 new exclusive extras were released via BD Live. 5 of these were dedicated to the upcoming Transformers Revenge of the Fallen film, which was scheduled for release just 8 days later. The remaining 10 extras were a treasure trove of never-before-seen behind-the-scenes content and deleted scenes from Transformers 2007. Now, unfortunately, as of 2024, nobody can view the Transformers BD Live content natively. This is because the servers that hosted it are now shut down, and it appears that it has been this way for a long time. Though I wasn't able to find an exact shutdown date, it seems like the servers that hosted the Transformers BD Live content might have went down sometime during the early to mid 2010s. I come to this conclusion since I stumbled upon a TFW 2005 thread created by Reeve on July 27, 2016 that discussed how they were unable to watch any of the BD Live content despite their Blu-ray player being connected to the internet. Now, another thing that I like to mention is that Transformers 2007 is the only film that got BD Live content, since the other films didn't even receive it as an option. This shows that Paramount deliberately decided not to invest further in BD Live features for the subsequent Transformers films. This may have been influenced by a combination of factors, including shifting industry trends towards digital streaming platforms, and perhaps the observed limited usage of BD Live features by audiences. However, this is just a mere speculation, and I doubt we'll ever get an official answer. So with that said, it's not out of the question to believe that the BD Live extras are lost to the far reaches of space. However, after scattering across the internet, searching every website, every forum, I was able to find 7 of the 19 total BD Live extras, and you can watch them all right now on my other channel, Transformers Behind the Scenes, using the iCard above. So with that said, let's dive right into BD Live and uncover what each of the 19 extras contained.
Fritz not die Familie des Sertas.
Alright, so starting off with the 3 extras viewers were able to get access to right off the bat. Those would be Transformers Intelligence Mode, Transformers Profiler, and Menu Bots. Now, according to IGN, Transformers Intelligence Mode was an on-screen dashboard over the film. This feature provided detailed information about the robots, their weapons, and their strength levels. It even included a GPS widget to track them. Unfortunately, we have no footage of this in action. However, luckily for us, we do have 2 screenshots of it. You see, if you own a copy of the 2007 Transformers film on Blu-ray, inside you can find the BD Live user guide. If we flip it around, we can see 2 images of Transformers Intelligence Mode in action. Unfortunately, the text on them is too small to make out, especially on the second screenshot. And this is a real shame, since you can only imagine all the information Intelligence Mode shared to viewers that is now unfortunately lost to time. So it really sucks that we don't have this anymore. Now moving on to Transformers Profiler. According to Phil Iturraldi's thread on the Home Theater forum, the Transformers Profiler serves as an in-movie guide for learning more about the production of the film, such as information on the cast, crew, locations, etc. Now, just like in the case of Intelligence Mode, we unfortunately have no video of this, so you can only imagine all the information that we lost. However, unlike Intelligence Mode, we have no screenshots of it, officially making it lost to time. With that said, this takes us to the 3rd and final Day 1 BD Live extra, that extra being Menu Bots. And thanks to Iturraldi's thread, we know that Menu Bots was a feature that allowed you to transform your in-movie menu bar to look like Optimus Prime, Megatron, or Bumblebee. Unfortunately, we don't have any images on how they looked like. And so with MenuBots concluded, this takes us to the last piece of BD Live content that came out in 2008, that being Robot Ninjas. And unlike the others, this BD Live extra was a short clip, and thanks to IGN we still have access to it. In the clip, the filmmakers talked about how director Michael Bay wanted the robots to be very energetic, and to realistically be able to do acrobatic stunts. In order to achieve this, the filmmakers got several different wire rigging companies to come together in order to make different fighting styles for each of the robots. The stuntmen would be recorded and the animators would use this footage as a reference in order to animate the robots doing stunts or fighting each other. And with that said, that concludes all of the BD Live content that came out in 2008. However, this might have not been all the content that came out in 2008, since according to IGN, Paramount assured them that Robot Ninjas was merely the first piece of many pieces of downloadable content that viewers could expect, with a second piece of content called What Effing Happened in Mission City dropping sometime after Robot Ninjas. However, I was able to find absolutely nothing about what effing happened in Mission City, besides other websites quoting the same press release. So to me at least, it appears that What Effing Happened in Mission City never made its way onto BD Live. As to why, I have no effing idea. So with that said, let's move on to the 15 BD Live extras that came out in 2009. Starting off with the 5 that were about Transformers Revenge of the Fallen, thanks to TFW 2005 and IGN, we know that 3 of these were just short clips from the film, titled We're Gonna Die, Shanghai, and Adobe Hut. In the clip We're Gonna Die, it's the scene in the film where Sam, Michaela, and Leo get abducted by Grindor and taken to an abandoned factory. The clip ended after Starscream sliced their car in half and ducked down to stare at them. In the clip Shanghai, it's the scene in the film where Nest makes their way to a Chinese factory in order to take out Demolisher. The clip ends when Demolisher transforms into robot mode. And lastly, in the clip Adobe Hut, it's the scene in the film where Sam and Michaela are hiding from the Decepticons in a hut. The scene ends after the duo jump in the air in order to dodge Starscream's missile. Now, as for the remaining extras, thanks to TFW 2005 and IGN, we know that they were behind-the-scenes featurettes. One was called From the Set of Revenge of the Fallen Day 1, and the other was called From the Set of Revenge of the Fallen A Day in the Shade. In the extra From the Set of Revenge of the Fallen Day 1, viewers got to see an exclusive inside look from the first day of filming on location in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. As the crew sets up, they express their excitement for the beginning of the shoot. Director Michael Bay gives them a little pep talk before going to work, telling them that this is one of those movies that can really help make a lot of kids' dreams around the world. He also shows them a shoe Nike made for him called Bayos, aka Chaos, because he will be up in their ass. The clip would go on to show Sideways running away from RC, Elita 1, and Chromia, as well as showing various crew commenting on the fast-paced shooting style of Bay. There's also a few effect shots and some fiery explosions shown as well. Now, though we don't have this BD Live clip to take a look at, the footage that you just saw on your screen all came from Revenge of the Fallen special features. Moving on to From the Set of Revenge of the Fallen A Day in the Shade, in this extra, viewers got to see a comical look at Shia LaBeouf and Megan Fox on the set between takes. The clip starts off with actual filming, where Sam asks Michaela to hold this shard. Fox is shooting a scene in a full leather outfit, so they have staff standing around her with handheld fans and an umbrella to block the sun. Shia is just sitting off on the side on the ledge by himself watching. Fox comments about how she is going to look like a douchebag on the DVD, and everyone starts laughing. At the end, Shia goes off into the middle of the yard and stands in the sun by himself. A crew member comes over and hovers his baseball hat above his head, and starts fanning him with his hands, and everyone laughs. Now, just like in the case from the set of Revenge of the Fallen Day 1, we do not have the physical clip to take a look at. However, the footage that you just saw on your screen all came from Revenge of the Fallen's special features. With that said, this now takes us to the remaining 10 BD Live extras that were all about Transformers 2007. And thanks to IGN, we have a short description on all of them. The first one is a deleted scene called Maggie and Glenn Introduction. This scene introduced Maggie Madison and Glenn Whitman to the audience. Now, this is pretty interesting since in the film Maggie was introduced way earlier than Glenn. So based on this description, it seems like the original plan was to have both characters introduced at the same time. Unfortunately, we don't have any archives of this clip on the web, which sucks since I really wonder how this scene would have played out. The next BD Live extra was a deleted scene called Fig Def. According to IGN, this was the death scene of George Figueroa. Now, for those of you who may not know, in the film, Fig gets wounded by Scorponok, and we would later see him be carried off on a stretcher and evacuated by helicopter. Based on this deleted scene, we know that Fig was supposed to die, and we actually have some footage of this thanks to the December 2006 trailer for the film. As for why Fig's death scene was removed from the film is unknown. Now, the next BD Live extra that we know about was a featurette called Fly on the Set, Pentagon. According to IGN, this extra was about the on-set filming of the Pentagon Military Command Center, and this is something that I wish we still had access to, since it sounds pretty interesting, especially when you consider that the first 5 Transformers films were heavily supported by the Department of Defense, which is a topic I plan to cover in the future. With that said, this takes us to the next BD Live extra called Music and Mayhem. According to IGN, this extra was about ILM deconstructing the blockbuster action of Transformers, and man, it's a real shame that we no longer have access to this, because if you ever watched any behind the scenes ILM breakdown video about Transformers, you would know that they are just absolutely fascinating to watch. With that said, this leaves us with 6 more BD Live extras, and luckily for us we have footage of all of them. Starting off with the extra Metal in Motion, this clip was archived by Jesse on YouTube in 2009. And was later uploaded in better quality by Paramount Entertainment Japan in 2014. Now, I won't be going too much into detail about this clip because I broke everything down in it already in my animatics video, but to give you guys the quick scoop, we basically get to see some really cool early animation tests, run cycles, and velocity tests. So if you're a Transformers head geek like me, this is definitely something to check out. With that said, this takes us to the next extra called Stunts 101, and this clip was archived once again by Jesse on YouTube in 2009. And was later uploaded in higher quality by Paramount Entertainment Japan in 2014. Basically, in this extra, we get to see how the filmmakers pulled off the various stunts that we see in the film. However, the standout here, in my opinion, is the one where Brawl shoots out the Sector 7 buggies, which is a scene that did not appear in the film itself, but we do get to see the aftermath from it. And with this BD Live extra squared off, this takes us to the next one called Choose Your Weapon. And we can once again thank Jesse for archiving this one back in 2009. In this extra, we get a fly-on-the-wall glimpse into the selection of prop weapons that were used by the film's soldiers, as well as some real weapons that were used as well. And so with that said, this takes us to the next extra called The Man in the Ice. And we can thank Paramount Entertainment Japan for archiving this one for us back in 2014. Now, this extra is really fascinating since it goes into how the filmmakers built 3 different sets for the Arctic scene, one of which being the slide that Archibald and the dog slide down in order to come face to face with Megatron. So out of everything so far, I recommend checking out this one the most, since it's just so freaking cool. And with this BD Live extra squared off, this takes us to the second to last one called Voices. And we can once again thank Jesse for archiving this one back in 2009. Now, if you're a fan of the voice actors, this extra is the one for you, since we get to see the voice cast of Transformers do what they do best. Some of the highlights from this clip would be Hugo Weaving, who plays Megatron speaking Cybertronian, and Robert Foxworth, who plays Ratchet, saying, "They're a primitive and violent race." Now, the reason why this Ratchet line sticks out to me is because Ratchet never said this in the film, and instead this line would be spoken by Ironhide instead. As for why this change got made, I have no idea. And with that said, this takes us to the very last BD Live extra that we know about, that being Megan Fox's audition tape. And we can thank Paramount Entertainment Japan for archiving this one for us back in 2014. Basically, in this clip, we can see Megan Fox auditioning for the role of Michaela Baines, and we can see her reading lines for the scene where she gets picked up by Sam. We can also see her acting out the scene where she lifts up Bumblebee's hood, but interestingly enough, the lines are slightly different here. And yeah, that was basically all the lost media from BD Live. I really hope that one day the unarchived BD Live clips will surface on the web, since they're a part of the production history of Transformers 2007. And with this film turning 20 years old in just 3 years, I'm hoping that Paramount will finally release them from the vault as part of some 20th anniversary collection, with the addition of the IMAX cut of the film. And if you want to learn more about that rabbit hole, click the iCard above.